Good day, this is Carol from Homesteading Made Easy. Today I will be rendering some tallow. We butchered our beef about a week ago, which I've been rendering tallow about every day this week. This is the first time I experimented with rendering tallow, so it's a kind of a new experience for me. And yeah, I had quite a bit. We had about probably 8 or 9 buckets full of ground up tallow. I'll show you. We put it through the meat grinder after we were done grinding our meat, so it cut it up real nice in small pieces, and it renders quicker if you have small pieces. And I use a slow cooker pot for most of it because I could put it in here and turn it on low. Usually I turn it on to about 230, maybe 240 degrees, and put a lid on it to kind of keep your heat in there, so it starts melting slowly. You have to stir it every now and then so it doesn't burn to the sides. So yeah, I'll stir this every now and then until it's completely melted, and I leave the lid on it until it's all melted. Then usually I take the lid off because I'm not sure. Like I said, this is the first time I've done it, so if there's any water in there that needs to evaporate, you want your lid off so it could evaporate. And this, when I do it in this pot, it usually takes 6 to 7 hours to render it down. And I've put some in the oven and render it down in a roaster that I've put some, I've done that too. And that's, yeah, you just kind of have to, I wasn't sure how long to render it. When it's done, well, these pieces that will melt down, they kind of turn brown. And I've noticed once it's all melted, it kind of bubbles. And once it's getting close to the end, there's not as many bubbles in your tallow anymore. Or if your remains turn kind of brownish, that's another indicator that it's done. So that was just my experiment. Like I said, I never done it before, and it was hard to find a video to have someone explain to you when it's done rendering, when to take it off. Because I know my dad used to render lard, and he said if you don't render it long enough, it will turn rancid quicker. So I wanted to make sure it doesn't do that, which so far, I got, I think 56 quarts of rendered tallow, and I put it in jars and seal it. That way it doesn't get rancid as quickly than if you would just have it out in a container that's not sealed. So hopefully it'll stay good for a long time. We are 2 hours into melting the tallow, and this is the way it looks. I did stir it every now and then, maybe every half hour, till everything was melted. So now all we need to do is keep on basically cooking it until, you know, these chunks here are more of a brown color. And I will leave my lid off now and just keep my eye on it for the next however many hours it takes. I had forgotten to mention that some of the videos I watched, they talked about some of the pieces of tallow that you want to keep, the best pieces. Well, I guess I didn't watch anything. I just kept my tallow. Then after we had everything ground up, I started watching videos on how to render it and what the best method is, I discovered that some pieces are actually better than others. Well, I guess I just decided to do it, then did the research. So we didn't have, I didn't separate my tallow. It's all, the best pieces are mixed in with the pieces that are not as good to use, but anyway, that's the way I roll. If I decide to do something, I do it, then do the research, and then just go with it. Here we are at the 4-hour mark. As you can see, there's less pieces on top. They go down to the bottom once it's closer to being done. And can you see those bubbles? It appears once it's closer to being done, there's less bubbles and less pieces on top, floating on top. And some of the pieces that are on the bottom are turning brown. So that's just a couple of the things I've learned through this process of rendering tallow. Okay, here we are just about at the 6-hour mark. I think I am going to strain it now. Most of those pieces have gone down to the bottom, and as you can see, they're browning quite a bit. So I will be straining it through this cloth. I have a big kettle because I have quite a bit of tallow there, and I'll just strain it out. Then I will put it in my jars and put on the lids and seal it. I'll just set it on the counter, and most of them sealed by themselves. Not quite all of them did, but I think I'm gonna be using it fast enough that it's okay. I'll be use it for baking, frying. I'm not sure yet if I will use any to make, lotions and anything like that. And I did what they call the dry render. I did not add any water or salt to render it. Then I'll just put that in my jars. And like I said, put on the lids and seal it. Have an amazing, blessed day. I hope this is helpful if you ever decide to try rendering tallow yourself. Have a blessed day. So I started out with, I think my pail was not quite full. It was a 5-gallon pail that I started out with this morning. And this is how much tallow I got from it, 7 quarts. And this part will go to the chickens. They really do like it quite well.